Okay, let's try this again. So sorry about that. I think it was VSync. I had VSync enabled. I have a new monitor and had VSync enabled, and it was causing this weird jittery thing. And so I'm going to try this again. Same helicopter, same little town, something farm, something patch field in Knutsford, England. I'm going to fly around and then I'm going to go to Manchester. So let me go ahead and let's jump in the sim. And let's see if this doesn't work out a little better this time. Okay, so again, this is the Hughes Oscar Hotel 6 OH-6. Small helicopter developed in Vietnam. It's put out by Mscenery. I'm not sure how you say that. Mscenery, all one word. And it's one of a few new helicopters in the marketplace on Microsoft Flight Simulator. It doesn't have the highest number of reviews, but I mean, it's got a decent number of reviews, but it looks like a 2.5 or something out of 5. And I wish that there was a way that you could see what people are not happy about, other than just the number of who voted for which amount of stars. So let me go ahead and let's go ahead and take off. And let's see what happens here. This is kind of works opposite of the G2, which is what I do most of my flying in. And that's going to be more pronounced on takeoff because you have to give a certain amount of pedal here. So let's see what happens. All right, that's not too bad. Ooh. Yeah, much better for the graphics. Sorry again about the earlier thing and having to stop, pull up over the trees. So I don't have real time or real weather engaged. I wanted to be able to kind of see. And in terms of just overall handling, I feel like this helicopter is pretty smooth. I've got about 7 minutes in it. And kind of see what's what. Right up ahead is you can see the airport for Manchester, but I want to fly around Knutsford for a little bit. You're probably asking, well, how in the heck did you pick Knutsford, England? And that is because I spent some time there and loved it. It was a very cute little place. Of course, now I can't find it. Here we go. It's on the left. Pear Tree Farm. That's the name of the little grass strip that I just took off from. And there's Knutsford. Yeah, that's rendering quite nice. So it's not the helicopter like I thought it was. It was my system. I had VSync set up and it was not happening. And this is much better. I'm probably getting around 70 frames with this. And yeah, that's pretty. All right. So what we'll do now is we will head over towards Manchester. So the rotor on this spins in the opposite direction of the G2, which means turns for me to the left are harder. And you really kind of have to push down on the collective a little bit or it won't overcome, the tail rotor won't overcome that rotational force. Which is the exact opposite of the G2. Which is what I do probably 90% of my flying in. And I love that helicopter, but this is feeling kind of nice too. And I haven't really like zoomed in. I haven't done a cold start on this. I haven't really, I mean, it kind of came up running Whereas with the G2, I can go through all of it. I can do the cold start. I know exactly how to operate that helicopter, but this one I do not. So maybe there's some startup procedure inaccuracies that people don't like. Let's see if I go to the right. Much easier to turn to the right, which is the opposite in the G2. And I'm going to head over towards Manchester. And I know what you're thinking. This is not a good simulator if it's having a sunny day in England. Sorry, England. I had to take that shot. So, sorry I have not been out posting a little bit, and I've got some posts to respond to, which I will shortly after this. But I have been busy with a couple of things and some updates and upgrades to the studio. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I've redone my background. I did some painting and added some new lights. Got rid of some old lights, moved my camera around, just made it a little more comfortable. And of course, in the process of doing that, I fixed some stuff that wasn't broke, and I've been having some hiccups just getting this stuff redialed back in. And also, on the other side of this wall, to my left, your right, I have a new project going on. I am working on a racing sim setup, and it is not done yet. The bare bones are up. I want to get some racing stuff going on as well. That'll be on a separate channel to be announced. Now, I'm going to make a bold statement here. And I have some verification of this. I mean, if I need to get proper affidavits and all that, I guess I can do it. But I lived in Germany a number of years ago, a long time ago. And in that time is when I visited Knutsford. I have a friend that is from there, and her family owned, maybe still owns, I'm not sure, a little bar or a pub, whatever you want to call it, and I spent New Year's Eve there one year. And myself and a friend of mine introduced to the people of Knutsford, and maybe it's still going on, I'll have to check with my friend, I'm still in touch with her, the Long Island iced tea. So, yes, bold statement, but I am one of the two people that brought the Long Island iced tea to Knutsford, England, if it's still there. Not Knutsford, I know it's still there, but if the Long Island iced tea is still there. So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Well, gosh, this is running way better without freaking VSync on. Stupid VSync. I hate you, VSync. So this is Manchester. This is nice. I've actually been to Manchester once in the nighttime and went out to a dance bar where I was accused of faking my American accent in order to impress the ladies. So yeah, that's how you impress British women, is by using a fake Southern accent. I thought it was funny, and I was not sure how to respond to that, as I recall. So it seems like when you get away from New York and Chicago, that you're not killing Microsoft Flight Simulator. Ironically, in my process of working on this driving simulator in the room on the other side of this wall, it's all PC based. It's not console based, it's PC based. And I'm using iRacing and Assetto Corsa Competizione and Project Cars 2, all the standard stuff. Nothing crazy. And my computer, which struggles, can struggle with Microsoft Flight Sim. It just laughs at the flight sim, getting like ridiculous frame rates. I'm all like 30 frames per second on Microsoft. I'm ready to have a party, and then seriously getting like 200 or something like that on the right with everything turned up to the max. It's really funny. So you get used to certain things, and then you forget that there's other games out there. But it's interesting. I gotta say though, I'm liking this helicopter. It's we'll see when it comes time to land it. I've only landed it once, and it was not pretty because I have to, again, it's the opposite of the G2. And this thing, it's very easy to lose control authority with the pedals. Like, you will literally have a pedal jammed in and it will not rotate in that direction, and you have to really back down on the collective to get it to do that. And so I haven't run across that in the G2 to the extent that I have in this helicopter. But up in the air, just kind of at altitude, that was a big stutter, it seems very, very smooth. That blade seems like it's lower than on the G2, but I haven't flown the G2 in a week, so maybe I'm misremembering that. Like, so here's an example. Right now, full left pedal, and it's almost like it's turning to the right. So I'm going to down collective a little bit, and that is giving it enough to where it's finally turning. I have to really turn, but then I don't have to watch because I don't want to like suddenly drop in altitude. Helicopters are just tricky to begin with. So, but now I'm going to do a turn to the right, and look at that, and it's just super easy and very smooth. This, I mean, for me. This is definitely not as nimble as the G2, but this is still a pretty awesome helicopter. I'll have to do another video where I really have it on the ground and go through all the startup and all that and do a cold. It doesn't look that complicated. And I am assuming that this is using the proprietary Microsoft helicopter flight model and not proprietary to the developer, because my controls are set up to use the G2 and I didn't have to change anything, and I have like collective for collective and not all the workarounds and things like that. So I'm thinking that this is using that flight model, which is good, and I hope all of the other ones do that too. I've noticed now that there's 4 or 5 helicopters that pop up on Rotorcraft when you switch to that in the marketplace, and I don't know if that means that they're all using that flight model or not, but before they weren't doing that. I think they were coming up under other or something like that. Let's turn to the right. Now, I don't think I could do that kind of a turn to the left. Oh, it's easy to lose control of this. So this helicopter's been around for a while. This is the Hughes OH-6. This was around in Vietnam. And I think it was kind of like a scout kind of helicopter. I'm sure that weapons were attached at some point. A much lighter, smaller, probably more nimble helicopter for sure. If you ever saw the movie Blue Thunder, it's an old movie from the 80s, like an old movie. The movie's probably 40 years old. Malcolm McDowell was in it. He played the bad guy, did a good job. The helicopter he flew was this helicopter. So I'm going to try to see what happens now. I'm going to try to go to the left. Oh, okay. So I'm having to bank a little bit. There you go. It's nice. That seemed all right. And then hopefully they're constantly tweaking these models, especially this helicopter model. The Cirrus Jet I really still love. It's my favorite. If I could only fly one thing, it would probably be that. But I've got to say the helicopter aspect of this has been really, really nice. I'm just still kind of tooling around Manchester. I almost feel like I want to try a landing. Maybe I'll take it to the airport and try to butcher a landing. I have not landed this thing but once, and it was really hard. Not impossibly hard. I didn't crash, but it was very awkward, and I didn't land where I was trying to land. I was way off base. So let me see where the airport is. It's behind me. So let me swing this around, and I'm going to swing to the right so I can do a faster turn. But that's probably not a good way to do that. But it turned me around. What can I say? I'm heading towards the airport, and I'll try to do a couple landings. Expect some crashes, expect a restart. Keep looking to my left, your right. That is for flight that I'm looking at. There's only one livery for this right now. And they have another helicopter out too. Mscenery has a second helicopter out, the R-22, which is commonly used as a trainer. I actually looked into taking a helicopter some lessons just to get a few hours in, but at like $400 an hour, I said, nah, that's all right. Is that like an ear? That's all right. Let's try it out. Looks like a grass thing. And there's a grass field here. All right, I'm going to try to land this. Got a lot of speed to bleed off. Now, landing an actual airplane on grass is an interesting,
Approaching runway 26 left.
interesting thing.
Enter runway 26 left.
You have to do a
2,200
special
feet
type of
remaining.
landing called a soft field approach. Ooh, it's too
Approaching
fast.
runway
And see, here's where I
26
start to
left
lose
and 32.
control. And
Enter runways 26 left and 32.
hey, ah, that wasn't too bad. I'm happy with that. All right, back up. Here we go. I'm gonna try to do like a total up and forward kind of thing. Let's see what happens. I think left pedal is where I need to be. Forward.
Approaching runway 02.
Hey, that was awesome. This is a fun helicopter. I gotta say, this is really fun. Big old stutter. This is nice. I gotta say, this is nice. Of course, the console, the pedestal in the middle is not the most exciting, and I don't have, of course, any frame of reference on how accurate it is or anything like that. I'm using Air Manager with just a basic 6-pack on one of my monitors that's out of frame for you guys, and I mean, it's working. It's giving me airspeed and it's attitude indicator and, you know, all that good stuff, altitude and direction, and it's working fine. Let me try a little look to the yeah, I mean, I will say that some of the surfaces seem kind of just very bland. There's no detail. If you can see these, like on the yellow insides here, it's just very, like, it's just yellow. I mean, it's showing the shadows and the light, but there's no texture to it. It's almost just yellow. So I kind of feel like that could be better. The top of the pedestal does have a little texture to it. It was raining when I first booted up to make this like real weather or real-time weather, and it was raining, and I don't like flying in the rain. Let's see what happens just for giggles. I have to kind of fly opposite-handed here. Weather. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty. It's got a nice little inside glow, which is nice. That gives it a little bit of detail. But it's still, I don't know. And let's see where the big airport is. Big airport is due. I'm heading actually right for it. Let's kind of buzz over that way. And you can see some aircraft over there. Yeah, this is nice. So, Microsoft certainly does a good job with this aspect of it, which is why it doesn't do as good of frame rates as the racing games. It is funny, though, to have a computer that's just so used to Microsoft and then 200 frames per second without a sweat. Without a sweat. close to one of these roads. Now this is real time, so this is, in theory, the same time of day that Manchester's experiencing right now. I am pretty sure I would have a very hard time finding that original place I took off, but I could do it because I have ForeFlight. But if I didn't, that would be hard. So my initial impression of this helicopter is going to be very positive, and I'm going to go give it a good review on the marketplace. I am not sure. I mean, I get, it is, like I said, it's a little bland on the inside, but I don't have any experience with this helicopter in real life. I have no idea. But using my controllers, which are basically WinWing joysticks and a WinWing collective on a throttle base, which I still love, and using the Thrustmaster pendulum pedals, this thing is fun to fly. This is a great setup for flying helicopters, by the way. This is really a good setup. Okay. There's the airport. And I'll try a night landing and see what happens. I suspect that landing I did a little bit ago was a little bit of some luck, which I'll take. See the runway, but I am not seeing any tall stuff. Oh, like the control tower. Hello. Sorry. I would definitely get a call the controller when you land thing on that. All right. Let's see if I can put this thing down. Off some airspeed, which is the hardest part of this thing, is to do that in a smooth kind of way. And if I'm still moving forward way faster than I want. So not precise, not as good as the first landing, but given that that's literally my third landing in this aircraft, I'm very happy with it. Take off again, kind of doing the same thing, forward. Except I forgot to do left pedal. That's what this thing likes, it's not the G2. Over to the city. Love these little details like this where you've got these roads and the lights. Of course, they're just floating in the middle of nowhere, which makes no sense, but hey. And I'm flying kind of dark. And I may bring the lights up here again in just a second. So in terms of turning to the left and you're just banking, then it'll turn to the left, which basically is what it's supposed to do. but if you're trying to do a turn, like a rotate around using the pedals on this thing, you can definitely run out of pedal authority. Little splotch of grass. Should maybe try to land on it. Let's see if I can land on that. All right. I'm gonna try. So it's a tight space. Look, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I'm going in. Okay. Very hard to do on any helicopter. I'm not blaming this on this helicopter. But you definitely have to have an increased amount of limb independence. Oh, I'm going to crash for sure. I'm going to let it come around to the right. Here we go. No. Come on. And, oh! Saw that one coming. Yeah, that... I can't blame that on the helicopter. That was all me. So let's do ready to fly. Change the time. Let's get rid of this rain. I don't like the rain. I don't want to fly in the snow. And let's try one of these little forward takeoffs. Done that better. But in this helicopter, you have to have a little left pedal right from get-go. Let's get some altitude. So let's try a little bit of an auto pause, active pause rather, and let's go outside the, so it's an attractive helicopter. It's only got this one livery on it, so there's that. Pretty nimble. It's still got a cool look to it. I have a feeling I'm going to be spending some time with this one. So far it's been easy just to get in and take off. I've not done a cold start or anything like that. Now this is where I always crash. These active pauses are tricky. I have found that on active pauses sometimes it acts like it almost like it's building up something, and when you like tension or some kind of pressure, and then when you release it, it all comes into play. I don't know that it's a true pause. And this thing will get up and move. Right now I'm doing 100 knots, and that's, you know, pretty cool. Have to put together an air manager panel that's more specific for helicopters. There's a couple that are in there, but they don't entirely work. with the Microsoft stuff. You get some weird fluctuations, but right now, like I said, I'm just running like a 6-pack, and it's doing fine. And I'm hardly even looking at it. I kind of feel like with this thing, you are definitely keeping your eyes outside of the aircraft. One thing that's nice about ForeFlight, if you've not used it, once you put in a destination for an airport, it gives you these extended runway lines, which are nice. So like right now, I am lined up with with one of the runways, and it looks like I am lined up for 5 left, 05 left, and that's kind of neat. If you guys aren't spending much time in helicopters, you should really try them out. They are a lot of fun. I get the airplane, the fixed wing aspect of it, but these are blasts because you really get to spend some time close to the ground, which is a place where Microsoft kind of shines. I mean, it's got some weirdness with the roads and traffic and things like that, which I've actually turned most of my AI traffic off. But it's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's 5 left. 05 left. And just as kind of a weird aside, another thing I've done since my last bit of streaming was changed my internet to fiber, and holy crap, has it's different 2 gigabit up and down. I mean, down is one thing, but up, holy smokes, it is crazy fast. Now, of course, I'm going to be limited by, congestion in other parts, just because I can download at 2 gigabits doesn't mean that places are allowing files to be downloaded at 2 gigabits. But it is amazing. And the upload is the same. It's the exact same. And sometimes it's better. So, like, a lot of times I'll get around 1700 download, and I'll get like 1900 upload. 100 versus where before I was, I would be happy to get 40 up versus 1900. 40 versus 1900. And that's nuts, which is great for streaming because now I can stream at a higher bit rate. The only thing about streaming at a higher bit rate is it increases the lag. All right, let me try to see what happens. So I'm going way fast. So I I've got a down collective. Pull up to bleed off that speed. Watch my pedals. Still going way too forward, too fast. So ka-clunk, not as good as I would like, but you know, I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna actually call it right here, and I may, like I said, I'm gonna do another video about this helicopter, but I'm gonna do it more like as a cold start and kind of get close to the controls and the pedestal and all that and kind of see what it's all about. So this was just a general flying around, and you know, and so far I've got to say I really, really liked it. I'm going to put it right there with the G2, which I love. So if you have any questions, or if there's anything in specific that you want me to demonstrate, or if you have any questions about this helicopter in particular, please put them in the comments below. Otherwise, you guys have a great